Hello, I want to talk about hemorrhoids and magnesium. Um, Studying this from a naturopathic perspective, hemorrhoids. I was taught in naturopathic school, school of naturopathy school. Just sounds funny, doesn't it? But in France, I was taught that the hemorrhoids were a result of something being backed up in the liver. The liver is backed up, and so therefore It's like a delegation. It's something is not able to process, and so this is kind of expanding in that direction. And so there's whether or not that be perfectly true, I do believe that. The liver does play a role here in hemorrhoids and liver detoxification and magnesium in its role in the glutathione production, its role in the phase 2 detoxification, its role in the desaturation of estrogens into water solubles, and how it's able to get these things out properly is going to lead to less congestion in general. Now, I also think that, like what Dr. Carolyn Dean had stated about magnesium and hemorrhoids, talking about just general muscle knowledge, knowledge of how muscles contract. And so the contraction mechanism is not caused by magnesium. It's typically the mechanism that creates the decontraction. And so magnesium helps to relax the muscles in the intestines as well whenever the magnesium levels are high enough in a general way. Optimal levels are reached, not just like not near the level of pathology, which is what a typical blood test points at, but optimal levels. And so when the optimal levels are there, the muscles can relax correctly. And so with low levels of magnesium, this muscle relaxation part, the part that's parasympathetic, the part that's relaxing, the passive part versus the active part, this part is limited. And this creates these kind of spasms, contractions, etc. And then you get constipated. So then the constipation puts pressure on the anal canal, which, constipation does not just have to come from there. It can also come from people that never eat fats and low fat diets, and it can come from the way you eat in general, like lack of fiber, no fat, lack of flora, like a very sterilized type of diet, or a lot of vaccines, antibiotics, and things that keep that flora sterile. I mean, why do you think dogs are always trying to find the smelliest stuff they can find to eat? Because it triggers their flora, And I know this sounds crazy, but the shark meat, the rotted, infested shark meat in Scandinavia that they would eat to become a man or whatever that was, like they're starting to realize that some of these crazy, stinky, unbelievably pungent odors, whenever they were consumed, not only did they not taste like they smelled, they tasted better, but they triggered a euphoria in the body and like a repopulation instantaneous. And some of them even lifted depressions, like long depressions, maybe not mental depressions, but body depressions, or some closer to body-based depression than just like psychological trauma or whatever. Or the avoidance of such or whatever. So this is, this is a side note, but the flora is key, and how we are with the flora and what's going on there. Probiotics and lactofermentation, broth, butyric acid, like healthy fats, etc. When you say healthy fats, it doesn't mean anything anymore, because all the fats are coming from these big, super fat animals that are way too obese, and so their quality is diluted, and they don't have like European pigs. They're like very small, so they're much more concentrated. There's a quality there. We've lost that in America, so you might have to import some of those fats. That's why imported butter is so big in America, right? So anyway, so this puts pressure on the anal canal, this lack of this constipation and lack of contraction, and causes the hemorrhoids to pop out. So what was given in the past? Epsom salt baths for this rectal pain, And so here we are again with magnesium being a key feature there in trying to relax that, open that back up, and allow that to heal and give it what it needs. Now, the problem with Epsom salt is it's not made like it used to be. It's not from Epsom anymore, and it's just made through processes and isotopes usually, or electrification, or something they're doing with upgrading the substrata to separate the magnesium, the sulfate, and all this stuff. So that's not a healthy process anymore either. And so Epsom salt usually has a superficial healing. It helps detoxify the skin and some of the things that the liver has already pushed to the skin, and then they get their final exodus. But as far as intracellular magnesium, and what you need is magnesium chloride. You don't need the sulfate. You need something different. So this goes internally. Well, it goes through the transdermal route, just like Epsom salt, but it aims internally. The chloride molecule aims into the intracellular level, and whereas the sulfate has more of an external intercellular activity. Now, this is not perfect science, but there's some truth to it. Okay, so like you have yin and yang. You have one does this, one does that, but then there's a piece of the opposite in each, right? So so hemorrhoids can be helped by high levels of magnesium. So we need to take this daily. You can also put them there locally, but the problem is you want to dilute it, because the magnesium, especially if you're buying the good stuff, the right stuff, it's maximum concentration. It's very strong, and it's not healthy for healing anything that's cauterizing or healing or scabbing or anything of that nature. It's not going to be healthy for at that dilution, but it will be if you dilute it. So if you get it down to 15% with some spring water, glass bottled spring water, and then you cut that down to 15% of the magnesium oil, the transdermal, then you can use that solution, or you can even taste the solution to make sure it's just a little bit bitter but not too bitter. And then you can use that internally, and that can help heal that area. But and this is well known. I don't need to have a study or be a doctor to say that. This was done in hospitals between both world wars. They were using, magnesium chloride of a baser quality, and so they know about this already. Even dentists are using this 15% solution for healing of the gums and things like that. So there's a lot going on there that's already been proven. So, but up your grade of that, they all had a bad quality of those same molecules. That was solvent extracted, and et cetera. Get the right stuff that comes from a natural stone. That's a natural state magnesium chloride. You can only find that through these healthy blue glass bottles. Zechstein Inside logo, meaning it comes exactly from the city, Vindam, where this natural salt pillow formation is found. You can't fake that or recreate it, and there's only one an original source. A lot of the people pretending to be Zechstein, genuine or ancient or Permian or whatever, these are all fake Zechsteins. They're not coming from the Zechstein Inside. You can call them and ask them if you need to. And so where they're getting their stuff, typically Asia, it's extracted and solvent extracted from potassium mining. It's called derivative magnesium, and then it's resold, and then they purify it of contaminants, and then it's not the same thing. It's sterile. You want the right stuff. It's only $3 a week. Come check us out at theheartoftradition.com for that and other health tips.